So in this video I'm going to share a couple tips that usually help me increase my success with catching perch. The first thing that I look for is where to fish. I started using the depth charts, got Navionics on my phone. It really helps. I'm fishing kind of in this inside corner off of this point. Felt like it would kind of funnel the fish in. The second thing is the lure. Perch will bite on pretty much anything. If they're around, especially if they're schooled up, you could drop a bare hook down in there, any type of jig or anything, they'll hit it. But especially if you put a little bit of bait on there, so some prawn or worms will really increase your chances of success. They seem to be pretty finicky with the prawn. Change up my bait here, just try a little bit of night crawler on there and see if they like the taste of that a little bit better than that prawn. And then I put this on just as an attractor because they're just cruising around. Another tip is to get more hookups, to get your bait all the way on the hook. I know a lot of people sometimes just kind of put the hook through the worm maybe once or twice and there's a big part of it that's hanging off. I try to get the worm or any bait like all the way on the hook with the tip of the hook exposed, and that way when they grab the bait they grab the hook and you can get a good hook set. The underwater camera is nice, but it's not necessary, but it really helps determine what the fish's behavior are and kind of fine-tune what you're using. Third one. Yeah. He came in and smashed it after I was just talking shit about them. Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Look at that. Nice. I think that flasher really helps. And they just nailed that worm. So this is the best way to dispatch perch or any fish for that matter. Just take something, hit them in the head right behind the eyes. You don't have to hit them super hard, but it kills them instantly. They don't suffer. Alright, we got a couple nice ones. These things got such cool colors on them. Orange and greens and beautiful fish. And the best part is, they taste amazing. I'll put a couple links in the description for recipes for these things. There's a super simple way to clean these. I'll talk about that a little bit more later in the video. Another thing about perch is that they are a predatory fish. They eat other fish, pretty much anything that's in the water. One of the reasons they're not too particular with what kind of hook they bite on. But keeping the hook moving around will help attract their attention. You'll have a lot more success rather than if you just put your rod in the rod holder and just leave it sit there. You'll still get them for sure. If they're coming through, they get kind of curious. But if that hook is moving around, looks like some kind of bait or food, you're much more likely to get them to come in and just smash that hook. Here comes one sneaking in. I think this time what I'm going to do is just grab the line and just set the hook in the fish, holding on to the line. Last time I picked up the pulleys out of there when one came in, I spooked it off. Yeah, another decent one. Keeping that bait moving definitely makes a big difference. Another tip that I would offer is to get a good hook set on these things. So when you feel them on the line or you see them grab it, just give a good jerk and get a good hook set on that. Perch a lot of times will hang out close to the bottom. Their eyes are set a little bit more towards the top of their head so they can see what's above them. You want to be down closer to the bottom because that's where they're going to be. Another thing that I find works well when the fish are scattered out like this and you got to draw them in. When you're ice fishing, you're kind of stuck in one spot for the most part. But to draw them in, sometimes if you just lift the hook like way up and then let it free fall. I find this works really well in some lakes for trout too. But they can see it from further away. Come on. Yeah. Got one.
You can usually get perch to bite throughout the day. I find they're not nearly as crepuscular as trout and many other fish.
Oh, we got a perch. It's a fighter. Oh, it is. Oh, it's a good one. One of the bigger ones we got today. So just getting ready to head home and clean these baiters up.
You don't have to gut them before you do this. Just going to take a fillet knife, or any knife really, cut right down behind the gill plate, right down to the spine, turn the knife, follow it right down along the spine, right down, leave it attached to the tail, flip it over, get the knife underneath the meat, between the meat and the skin. There you go.